Hey everyone, it's getting cold in Pittsburgh, so time to put the sweatshirts and vests on. Uh, Quick video on value creation and value chains. I'm borrowing this idea from Bruce Sinclair, who just released his book, The AI Operating Partner. Love this book. Really smart guy in many ways, and has had a really interesting career as well. The He talks in here about the uh, concept of a value chain for AI. And this book itself is really meant for private equity groups, general partners to be able to understand how to utilize AI to drive their value multiples and have a lot of success. Bruce has been a really interesting idea. Just a quick mention of his other books. This one here came out in 2017 and was a big influence on me for IoT and value in companies. And also his more recent one in 2021, which was using digital transformation for value creation. That one was also, as this latest one is, was meant for private equity groups and also their operating partners, and has been a really interesting book as well. But I'm just going to pull on this idea of value creation and a value chain, which he specifically starts to talk about in chapter 1 here. And in borrowing that, what I want to do is to apply that to the other things that we talk about and work with manufacturers on all the time. And that primarily is, don't forget about the digital strategy. Video, I think we were just dropping a little bit ago, talks about digital strategy, and so often we find companies forget it. But I think this idea of a value chain and representing that visually, we'll come out with an infographic at some point here soon, will really key people into where this fits in the whole process of creating value. So a value chain is essentially a way to represent in layers, maybe a hierarchy, all the components to generate value. And for Bruce, he has at the top for the AI value chain strategy, then value, the useful information, then there's the AI model, data, software, and hardware. And the idea is that when you start from the top and start to work your way down the chain, you're establishing the requirements for what the how to put together the solution, how to execute that value. And if you start to work up the chain, then you start to think about what are the dependencies, how each of these pieces or layers depend on the other to eventually get to the top, which is to create that value. So translating this to manufacturing, from my perspective, off the cuff at least, creating this video, value chain for manufacturing digital transformation for us and the companies we work with might start with, what's the business objective? In the business, where's the value that we want to create to drive EBITDA or to expand into a new market or something else like that? And then let's back down to, what's the strategy, and specifically what's the digital strategy? Below that, then potentially analytics, and then the architecture, the data models, then the data itself, and then you get finally to the software tools that you buy to implement this, and also then the hardware that the solution is hosted on, runs on, as well as the hardware, machines, etc. you're connecting to. Uh, so when we think about this, we think the strategy is up there just below the business objectives. And the key idea is that that strategy is there, and therefore we absolutely cannot forget about it. But so often, again, like I said in the prior digital strategy video, companies forget about that, and they go out and buy a tool like a hammer, and then they're looking for nails, looking for solutions to solve, or nails to hammer with that tool, and they end up either failing in their projects or creating a lot of unnecessary technical debt that they then have to unwind at some point, and it gets extra expensive, which nobody wants. So the concept really is to start thinking about, what's the business objective, recognize what it is. It should already be established by leadership, and then define your digital strategy that will be the connecting tissue to all the solutions. And then that digital strategy will help you define solutions that are appropriate to then accomplish that business objective. That's the idea. So let's think about that whole sequence, all those layers, as a value chain within a value framework. And then you've got yourself a really nice, succinct idea that I think communicates well to your leadership. and then you can start to drive a lot better adoption around the kind of work that everybody needs to be doing. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Like, subscribe, and call us if you want to talk about this stuff or to exchange ideas on the value of Bruce Sinclair's books. They're really good stuff. Thank you.